me just put them in storage, actually. Well, it depends on the fight, but yes, boss gear when it first came out was only available from field bosses or from scrolls, and it was super rare. Hang on. Eventually they added Night Vendor, and you could get boss gear from Night Vendor, and that was big exciting times. But obviously now it's everywhere, so... Okay, we got our first Atanas element. That's what we're here for. Let's see how many of those I can get. The time limit on Songachi? I don't know. I think it's 10 minutes, maybe. 10 or 8 minutes. I think maybe she enrages at 8. I don't know. She's a pretty fast fight once you know what you're doing anyway. I think I killed her. My fastest was sub 6 minutes. Yeah, 544 is my fastest. Could definitely do better than that as well. Like, sometimes you need a favorable pattern to go even faster than that, but yeah. We have the telescope now. Don't have to do that anymore, Flaky. Stop bullying me about it. Just any excuse for me to be in Valencia, basically. This part succession would definitely be better for her. No, not for the elephants, although I have done that in the past. I'm doing it for the Atanas elements. When I was grinding Blood Wolves the other day for to craft my Harmony Crystals into Ultimate Macalods, you need the Cagtanax. So I was grinding for Cagtanax, and I actually got the piece again. I mean, I was on like 400% drop rate because we had the castle and I was on Arsha, but anyway, after a couple, I think it was 2 hours, I got like the infinite potion piece. So I was like, okay, well, every now and then I'm going to grind for autonomous elements to eventually complete a third HP potion? Or is this 4? No, it's the other. It's the mana I already did 3 of, I think. Also, right now, like, Cadry rings are pricing up. Because obviously you have people moving over to hard DR hybrids rather than evasion because it's better. Yeah, I mean, when you grind Rhonoros, you have the direct chance of getting the piece, so that's a big advantage, but I don't really like Rhonoros personally. I mean, the other option you kind of have is, you have the option to grind, Crescents, or you have, like, maybe, like, you could also grind, oh god, what is the name of it? Oh, Proddy Cave, that's it. I couldn't remember the name. You could grind Proddy Cave, because Proddy Cave is quite nice, because you get Abyssal Essences, and Abyssal Essences are really big stonks right now, and then, what's the other thing? You get Tungrad Rings, obviously, while getting a Tolerance Element, so Proddy Cave is actually kind of good for that stuff. Well, I mean, who cares about skill points in modern BDO? But yeah, maybe. So skill points are irrelevant. I wouldn't think about that. We're just talking about the economic situation of each grind spot. Obviously, I grind a lot of endgame grind spots, but sometimes it's useful to, when I get asked questions about, hey, where should I grind with minimal gear? Which low-end spot is kind of producing the money right now? Obviously, Blood Wolves is really good. We know that because of the Cactanax. Just wish I had faster pets. They're all maxed, but they're still not fast enough. Imagine that we used to be capped at 3 pets. Can you imagine? I like the autumn vibe of Blood Wolves. You know. Oh yeah, you just... I wouldn't stop, I would just keep grinding. Unless you're killing a pack that has mobs that specifically drop something you need, like more of those mobs, then, you know, I would just keep going to grind. I would never stop for loot. So if you stop, like, yeah, I guess you get some extra loot. I mean, the only reason you maybe stop, I guess, like, if you stopped, maybe it's okay because, you know, like, maybe you're Crescent Shrine and you're burning your Agris. I don't know if this spot even is good for Agris. Does it even show on the map? There it is. Nope. So Crescents is good for Agris, so you could, like, chill with Crescents and go slowly to make sure Agris isn't being wasted by going through too many mobs. I guess, but yeah, I don't know if I would do that anywhere else unless, again, you had like a specific mob that drops a specific item, like, you know, your Blood Wolves, and you need to kill a pack with Executioners. You don't want to zoom through that. There's no point. Oh yeah, I don't have a PvE skill enhancement on. Whoops. See, that was a lot of mobs spawning from a wave mechanic, so I'll stop for that, I guess. But yeah, if you're not burning Agris, I don't think there's a reason to stop most of the time. Especially when you're killing mob after mob and there's not much downtime. You know, if it took a while to get to the next pack, obviously. Sure, I guess stop, but... Yeah, and I get the question, 100%. You might have somebody that feels differently about it than I've just laid out, but... Rift boss mobs don't ever despawn once you spawn them. Well, my buttons got fucked up. Oh, I know why, because I was fucking with it earlier. Don't know why I saved it. I think habit, that's why. I'm killing my mobs. That's not cool, man. Make smart choices, my man. Make smart choices. No, he's not going to make a smart choice. Classic wizard grab resist though. My man tiered again? Come on. Oh, this is a new person. Never mind. Surprised I haven't got a Cadry ring yet. On the drop right I have in Austria. Oh, come on, man. That guy is running. It's an archer. Oh, there's a Cadry. Okay. So it's not going to be 0 Cadrys this hour, at least. This is like really awkwardly spread out that area, so it'd be better with succession in that specific thing. I don't know if succession would be better overall, but... So far we've gotten 2 autonomous elements only, so... Considering the drop rate doesn't feel that great. You know, with no chance of direct drop. Yeah, but Ronaros has the chance for the direct piece, so I don't know. I guess like if I consistently got 2, we're looking at like 8 an hour, which seems okay, but with the drop rate that I have, I would have thought it'd be a little bit better. My brother. Oh, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, buying an infinite potion makes most sense. I mean, if every single infinite potion spot was like Blood Wolves in terms of income, then, you know, maybe you would make it, but... I don't think so. Is he still killing my stuff? Come on, man. Come on, brother. Wow, this little archer needs to kill Cadry so badly that he keeps respawning. Well, I mean, like, I'm just on Archer for the drop rate, but obviously if they're going to kill stuff on my rotation, I'm going to kill them. You can't see the server? Yeah, but Arsha always has a giant giveaway. I'm surprised you haven't seen. I just wanted to see how much money potential you could get Cadrys up to with really high rate. You're a pacifist. This RBF thing is an indicator that you're an Arsha. Maybe our archer friend has decided it's not worth it after all. Which is most excellent. Actually, unironically, do need these massive pure magics that are dropping because endgame spots in Ulukita and Dekia no longer drop any massive pure magic. And when you've enhanced your own Black Stars, you run out very quickly when you're not getting any supply and you've enhanced Black Stars. And I still need the massive pure magic for like the armor and stuff. So I am very happy to see it. Whereas most people, you know, doing like Elvia and stuff like that, you know, still much earlier game are like, oh yeah, I have loads of those things. How could you ever run out? Well, yeah. I mean, at least make the stones sellable. Okay, there's another Atanas. Yeah, at least making the stones sellable would be really nice. "12 scrolls. Little reform? For massive pure magic? Oh, no, not 10 million. I think they would be swamped on the market. I just think, you know... Yeah, I mean, maybe 500k each at most. I don't know. I don't really think they should be expensive because you do have people with a big supply and, yeah. You don't want to accidentally, like... I mean, I guess, like, the supply would go so crazy that it wouldn't buff up the income from some spots, but... Oh, yeah, I wouldn't do... You want to practice PvP, don't do RBF, man. It's uncapped. Just do Battle Arena with a friend with trial characters. Or if they have similar gear to you, obviously, you know, you can use normal gear. Well, you could also practice in AOS, yeah. I mean, AOS is 3v3 as well, so again, like, the practice is more a different type of PvP than holding your own in a 1v1, right? Everyone bought the new outfit. Is really cool. So glad they finally, like, did a non-Kumar outfit. Yeah, the high heal thing with the female classes is because of the character models. It's not just because they like giving them high heals all the time. It's that the actual model of the character is built with the idea that they have high heals on. Well, it certainly would be an art form, yes. Putting it lightly. Of all the desert spots, Cadry's probably my second least favorite of the main tier spots in early Valencia. Basilisk would be my favorite. Then Centaurs, then Gahaz. Then it's Cadry, then it's Bashams. Bashams is the worst. I'm not counting War Guns because it's not a real grind spot. Oh yeah, the heals would have to be made out of titanium. I hope we get Dekia Basilisk one day though. Like really hope. I hope they scrap the idea of Sulphur Mine and Peliku, because I don't care about those spots. People only went to those spots for the map anyway. Whereas Basilisk is a classic. I mean, you could even do Centaurs and just use the top of the hill rotations to have the Dekia stuff. I like Centaurs. I think a lot of people got sick of Centaurs because like it was so popular and so much money with Agris for new players and stuff, so... But... Objectively, I really like Centaurs. I like the vast canyons and stuff that you feel are in. I need to actually go re-look up the lore of these areas. I can't really remember why the Cadrys are here. Obviously, they're like cultists, but... Early BDO had a lot of cultist vibes. Like, there was probably like some developer's favorite type of enemy would be like, oh yeah, let's kill some cultists. They're literally everywhere. Serendia, Calphian, this cultist, then Medaya, I've got the Elric cultists. And they continued that here, and the Cadrys are the cultists. In terms of like pure desert, yeah, I mean Nagas is kind of like... I mean, I feel a bit sorry for the Nagas because in the lore they get kicked out of... You know, they used to be where the Fogans are, but the Fogans kicked them out. So I feel a little sorry for them. But yeah, their area... Like, I mean, I guess the buildings and stuff are kind of cool. Like a sand temple, but like, yeah. They got hard done by. And the Fogans now have the Oasis that used to belong to the Nagas. Here, 1 second. Well, I mean, there are a few Nagas that do stuff with humans, I think. Actually, I'm getting a lot of... I don't know if this is happening to you guys on YouTube, but I'm getting a lot of, like, random recommended videos of, like, channels that are, like, 200 viewers or 200 subs. And, the videos have almost no views and stuff. I'm not sure what's going on with the algorithm that's doing that. I mean, I guess it's good for discoverability for some of these people. I mean, one that I watched was, like, some brand new player to BDO. Or maybe he played in, like, 2017 or something, but so it was basically new. Didn't play long then or something. I can't remember exactly what he said. Anyway, so I watched this video. It was a stream, actually. He streamed it, and it was a VOD of the stream. But it was one of those streams where, like, the guy's starting out, so he doesn't really have any viewers or anything, so he's just kind of chatting to one friend that is there with him, who's, like not really that experienced, but more experienced. Anyway, it was pretty interesting to see, like, for my own perspective, to see a brand new player's perspective on BDO as it is now. So that was kind of interesting. But one thing that was, like, excruciating to watch was the Vipico thing. And I can't, like, even fathom how many new players are still getting stuck on this. But basically, like, you know the Vipico thing, you get a free tier 9 or you get the, obviously, the tier 10 materials. He took the entire stream not figuring out why he couldn't choose a horse from that without reading. Obviously, he had to put the right name in. But to be honest with you, it was almost like a good thing because, like, he kept trying to put in the mythical sensors because he didn't know what they were, I think, and just, yeah, thought that, like, I guess he thought that, like, he was getting it wrong or something, but, like, didn't know he had to put the exact title in. But anyway, eventually it was saved because instead of putting in for mythical sensors, I actually put it in for a unicorn, which obviously, like, look, I'd always recommend a Pegasus because I do think they're a little bit more useful, but a tier 9 unicorn is still pretty useful. It'll be good for desert stuff in any way, so, yeah. I mean, it's not like the tier 9 Pegasus's flight is good, but it's not remotely anything like the tier 10, so it's not the end of the world if he doesn't have that. But oh my god, yeah. It was like watching like hours of, like, it kept coming up because I basically had it on the side while I was gaming. Just watching this, like, new player perspective on the game, you know, because I think it was just kind of interesting, I guess, and so I was like, oh no, please. He, like, I was, like, terrified he would figure out what he was doing wrong, which is obviously you have to put the exact text in. And I thought, oh my god, this guy's going to put the exact text in and he's going to get mythical sensors, which obviously, you know, if you're going for tier 10 is great, but not for a brand new player. I know it does. Eventually, I think he saw it and he's like, oh my god, I'm really dumb. And then he put it in. But at that point, he put it in for the unicorn. He didn't put it in for the, damn, Neil. He put it in for the unicorn. He didn't put it in for the mythical sensors. But yeah, he almost ended up with 5 mythical sensors, which would be tragedy for a new player, really. I mean, unless he was like not a new player, obviously, then it's okay for a new account to have mythical sensors because you know you can buy a horse probably, and you know you're looking for the long-term future of your account. In which case, you might want to plan ahead for a tier 10, but not for a new player. Yeah, I like having watched a new player experience. I still think the game is not as welcoming as it needs to be for like new players and stuff. Oh, that's a gatekeeper. I think because of the AP cap, it's pointless to fight one, right? No, never mind. He's fucking getting melted. I lied. I don't even have AP gear on. Thought they were a lot tankier than that. Because they were capped so severely, but I guess, I don't know, maybe PvE buffs are big. When you got that free horse, you discarded it. I hate getting free stuff like that. Wait, you discarded it? Okay, hang on. You could have worded that 2 different ways. You discarded it because you hate getting free stuff? Or you discarded it because you didn't know what it was, and then you hate getting free stuff because you didn't realize what it was. Whoa, that's a really unnecessary... Like, he's allowed to have an opinion. You don't agree with XT. That was really unnecessary, dude. So aggressive for no reason. You don't have to agree. I mean, I understand where he's coming from. And this is a problem a lot of games suffer with. Like, how much do you help a new player without, like, diluting their experience and progression? It's really uncalled for, so... God damn. I thought we were done with the Valk training, bro. How is that still a thing? I graded for months to get a tier 10, then they gave them tier 9. Okay, yeah, I gave them for free. Yeah, I mean, look, here's my 2 cents on the topic. I think it's an important thing to talk about. I personally, like, remember, you know, like, God, man, we're talking like 7 years ago, but I remember getting my first tier 9 horse back then, and it was after the unicorn had just been released. I'd been failing to get the Pegasus, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to go for the unicorn instead. Or not specifically go for the unicorn, but I'm going to be happy if I get the unicorn instead because it's a brand new horse, and I did. And I think maybe that's what started my soft spot for the unicorn over the Pegasus. I still think it's the coolest tier 9. But yeah, back then it was like I was, you know, I couldn't, like, I went nuts, man. Absolutely nuts. I was so happy. I mean, it was kind of maybe a slightly less intense response to getting my first tier 10 Pegasus. My guy, like, come on. Oh, he swaps. Why kill more of my mobs then and then swap? Just swap before. Anyway, so yeah, one thing I would say is that tier 9s became so common at the end, way before they gave them away for free, that I saw them everywhere, and they were basically like normal horses. And under those circumstances, I kind of get it from Pearl Abysses. You give a new player a really cool horse that's trained, that they don't have to annoyingly deal with the mechanics of, like, all this stuff. So, I get it from their point of view. I also get it from your point of view. It's like, oh, it's one less thing that a new player progresses on and earns, because MMOs should be about that progression. So I definitely get your side as well. I don't really know what their solution is. I think every MMO deals with this kind of minefield of, like, how do we make progression still feel meaningful and not zoom players through stuff? You know, like, the kind of the retail World of Warcraft problem where, like, everybody, you get a legendary, whereas, like, you know, when it was just classic, a legendary was an absolutely insane thing, or an epic was an insane thing even, you know, and now it's like everybody gets one. I mean, to be fair, epics were never that crazy because you could always get those from raid bosses and from open world, but still, you know, the legendaries definitely were. So I definitely understand. I don't know. I don't know what the end goal solution is for an MMO developer to make new players feel like they can catch up without, like, underwriting the items themselves that they're giving away. I mean, obviously, part of the reason you got free tier 9s was because tier 10s were in the game. I think one thing I would say that was important for Vipico wasn't necessarily that they were tier 9 horses. It could have been tier 8s. What was really good, I think, for new players was that you didn't have to train the horse's skills, because that's really, like, annoying, to be honest with you. And it is kind of a little still swipey swipe, you know, because, like, it's a very big hassle to do, so they really want you to, like, pay for the training coupon for an hour. Yeah, it's difficult. I think it's a very important conversation to have. I think one thing I would say, and this is a little bit unrelated, is that, like, the tier 9 system in general deviated from the original horse system, which was all about breeding horses with different coats and stuff. And I think that's a shame that we lost that. When they first released tier 7 and 8 horses, you know, they did 7 first and they did 8. It was really exciting to try and breed that horse the first time, and it really actually lent into the training life skill a lot heavier. Whereas with tier 9s, and to a lesser extent 10s as well, they just kind of like didn't care about the training system. I mean, now with tier 10s, you can at least get an Imperial steed, but then the Imperial steed itself is totally random. It has nothing to do with how high your training is, so that's a shame. Or your mastery, even. So. You level your season ults with tier 10 Doom. It's kind of OP. It's not. I get what you're saying. It's like kind of, it's cool OP. In terms of like speed, it's not, but in terms of like coolness, it definitely is, yeah. Because of the way things are capped, damage is capped. Like if your tier 10 damage was uncapped, it's not. If it was. Yeah, I understand, Rex. I've done it. I have a tier 10 Doom. If damage was, like, here, look. If damage was uncapped, you know, it's a completely different story, right? Like, you have to get, like, the right... this is probably the worst area I could have done this, but... But the instant acceleration... You can't aim it on everything. It doesn't one-hit most things. It does okay in, like, Balanos and Serendia, but, yeah, the idea that you could just, like, run around on the horse and level people is... Or level yourself is not how it works. Unfortunately, for... Yeah. It's a lot faster to just kill things normally. Yeah, you used to have, like... I mean, I've obviously, like, suggested different skins for horses being a thing in the game for the tier 10s and such, but... you know, we only have an alt skin for both tiers of Pegasus. We don't have it for any of the other two, and... Neither of those is like, oh, to do with how you raise the horse or anything, which I think is a shame. Like, the way that you raise the horse or the parents of the horse should absolutely still matter, but... Well, you can leech from friends from level 1, though. And if you're talking about the Doom horse leveling you all the way to, let's say, I don't know, 56, so that they're getting loot while leeching you, like Gyphon or something... You know, that ability to level the horse like that pretty much is not effective by 40s or so. And those are the kind of levels where if they kill a couple Salzans, you get it in the first 2 minutes. You've yet to see the Black Pegasus? I'll have to ask my friend to log in and you can take a screenshot with it. Oh my god, if this is the same dude, or I don't know that guy. Actually, I don't know why I hovered over as if I was going to remember the people I've killed. Come on, then. Oh, I feel really bad about that, but... To be fair, he did resist my grab, so he kind of, you know... Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just a lot faster to like have somebody take you to Salsons, and then take you to either Orcs or Gyphon or something like that when they actually want to get loot. I mean, some people will level you from level 1 at Gyphon and not get the loot while they're doing it, but I won't. Yeah, I mean, that's always been the case. I mean, some of you guys are especially newer to the game. The game still has some of these elements that are predatory almost, you know, like the fairy, for example, the value pack and stuff with the you know, Kama Blessing and the Old Moon Book. That stuff sucks, but in general the game is much better. But there are a few like legacy things that are still, you know, in the game that are like, come on, you know, like. The horse coupon thing is obviously like, yeah, it's pretty rough. You can't really get a Corsair horse without the swaps. But this is where, like, you know, I think that there should be mechanics to allow people with extremely high life skilling in training, for example, or mastery. Well, more training level actually, because mastery can be gotten from every type of life skill. You know, like if you have like pen accessories or TED accessories, even, you know, you're that's every life skill. It's not specifically training. So I prefer training level because Guru is really hard to get in training. But like, there should definitely be ways you can work up towards getting a guaranteed courser without ever having to like have a skill swap. But the benefits you get are so minute. You know, you get a little bit of a higher potential chance to roll higher speed, I think, and stuff. But I can't remember actually. It's been a while. Hang on, let's have a look. Yeah, so it's capture rate, which doesn't matter anymore because they changed that. Mount XP, and then, yeah, chance of getting a higher tier horse. So, yeah, the mastery doesn't really do anything. And then let's see if we check just the training level. Yeah, you get a higher chance to learn a skill. But that's at Master 7, it's just less than 30% to get a chance. And then some of the skills are so, like, difficult to get that even the boost you get isn't really like that. Should be basically changed to be like, okay, you're a master trainer, you're like, you know, the chance is significantly higher to get like S sideways or whatever, right? Like otherwise these skills are like still just too difficult even if you're a guru trainer, right? It's just such a small amount that it boosts it. Like it's there to make you feel better, but it doesn't actually really do anything, was my point. So I definitely think they could do something about that. You know, it's not like new players are running around with guru training, so if they really want to be like, aha, convenience, they can still swipe, but there are most things in the game have been improved in a more positive way when it comes to like your interaction with the Pearl store and feeling you need to spend money. Of course, you can buy other people's pre-trained horses, so at least that is an option for you. And they do, yeah. I was just gonna say they do actually give you a lot of free coupons if you're actively playing. Each event comes by, you just leave them in storage or whatever, Black Spirit save, until the utter disaster of collect all rewards is accidentally clicked, and then you're like, oh no. I've done it, I think, twice since it's been in the game. Disaster. Okay, we only have 11 minutes left, and we'll get a rough idea of how much this was. But only one Cadry ring so far. That is less than I thought, if I'm being totally honest with you. Oh, I don't know. I need Autonomous Elements because I dropped a random direct piece of the HP potion from Cadry's. No, not Cadry's. Cactanax. When I was farming Cactanax at Blood Wolves. So I was like, oh man, okay. Eventually I'll need to go and complete that just to make the money from it. So in order to do that, I'm trying to get like Autonomous Elements. I tried Crescents and that didn't go very well, so now we're trying here, but 4 of them in 50 minutes on Arsha. If you mean like endgame PvE, no, not really, Pisa. Oh, we got another one, okay. Not really. Awakening can be very good at specialized spots, but Succession, I think, just isn't good enough at endgame PvE. You know, I mean, it's fine for early game, but I think a lot of endgame spots Succession just doesn't have. It feels like when you grind Succession, it feels like you're grinding without a full toolkit. It's kind of strange. I'm surprised you got to 370%. Oh, you probably used the scroll, actually. Yeah, no, it's more that it's just not enough skills. Some grind spots, the mobs just move in a way that doesn't benefit Succession because she doesn't act. Wow, like I'm getting a lot of like autonomous elements right at the end here. That's funny. You know, it's more the Succession, like, you know, obviously a lot of damage you get in PvE is back attack. Dude, bro. Okay. I went from 4 to 9 in the space of 3 minutes there. RNG is absolutely a wild thing, man. Anyway, yeah, so Succession doesn't, because mobs turn around really fast to prevent your back attacks, you have to completely readjust all the time. It doesn't work really well, so Succession in a lot of spots. Yeah, it's fine. I figured you use a scroll Erebus, that's all. I mean, early game, she has plenty of AoE. Her only limiter is that she's not, like, high mobility. You know, but the AoE is there and the power is there for early game PvE. But late game PvE, like, the kit is just super awkward at end game PvE. Where mobs are very tanky, they turn very quickly. Kit is just kind of weird, to be honest with you. Hey, Dan. Yeah, I mean, it's for me, it's like Awakening, you know, obviously has a limited AoE and the mobility isn't great, but obviously the kit is there to kill very tanky things. I mean, it is a comboing class in PvP after all, so it makes sense. But obviously it lacks the AoE size, but it can definitely thrive at the right kind of grind spot. Whereas Succession feels like it just struggles because the kit is just so narrow. You know, you're reliant on almost a PvP rotation, and that doesn't work nearly as well in PvE. It's very strange. Oh yeah, Scholar was buffed to be much faster. I haven't actually seen it move around since then. Yeah, I mean, you're not even at range. It's just like when I'm playing Awakening, right, and I wanna reposition. You know, I've got lots of tools to do that, and they're all attacking. Whereas if I'm doing it with Succession, right? Okay, I ran into a wall. But yeah, the point is, like, you're not really attacking to reposition because you're not really doing Will of the Wind. Otherwise, you'd be out of stamina. If you do Will of the Wind, you're probably going to stand and do that. But yeah, it just ends up really awkwardly, I guess. I think it needs either complete redesign of some forgotten skills or new skills. The problem, obviously, you're always going to have is changes in PvE might affect the PvP. And Succession is obviously a class you don't really want to improve further in large scale. You know, I mean, I guess you could. Archer is just a better suck ranger in large scale, but you know, Archer is among a few classes ahead of where it probably should be in terms of power. But you know, I don't know. It's like Awakening, right? The second you change something to improve its PvE, like lack of AoE or mobility, that does affect the PvE. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm all aboard that now because they don't seem to care about nerfing classes. It's just buff, 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 buff. So, yeah, give me buffs. I mean, I'd love to be able to play my Awakening Ranger in a more skirmishing role because I could actually keep up with people instead of being out of stamina while being unprotected. The class is very well protected, actually, when people attack you. But if you're trying to keep up with your allies, you know, keep with the flow of the fight, chase people down, yeah, no chance. But when people attack you, it's fine. But yeah, obviously PvE changes affect PvP, so that was the point. Yeah, most people that hate are thinking mostly about Archer. But Suck Ranger gets thrown in with Archer. But I would say that it's more of a problem on NA. You see a lot of NA people talking about the range meta, which EU doesn't have. So it's just like a difference. You know. Like, obviously, I play Suck Ranger in large scale, and I can tell you, I don't just get to cast there for free, and it's all cozy, and I farm everybody, you know, like. But the problem is on EU, you have people diving backlines way more. You have tanky raids full of, like, Valks and Zerkers and things that just, you know, build defensive accessories. On NA, you have Blob versus Blob with, like, 340 AP builds, you know. That's a Suck Ranger or Archer's dream. Throwing damage into people that are full offense? Yeah, hell yeah, that's what they want. The second you start throwing on defenses, though, then it's not so good. And the second you also have fast classes diving backlines going for the ranged is also, yeah. Interesting how the comps have... I mean, there's another thing, too, like... EU values Awakening Valkyrie so heavily. It's so strong, and yet NA, you never see them. Both servers, you do see a lot of Zerkers. That's pretty consistent. I think you probably see a decent amount of Drax on both servers. You still see a lot of Shies. But the one thing that's really strange is you don't see a lot of Valks on NA, but you see a ton on EU, and they are so good. But for some reason, NA just doesn't value Valkyrie despite having the most broken large-scale kit in the game. It's very strange how those sort of changes can occur, I guess, you know, between server regions with the same patch. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Nobody plays her on NA. On EU, she's incredibly popular. You should see Opposites Raid. You throw damage into Opposites Raid, and they're all like hybrid AP-DP rather than like pure AP. And then you have Valks full healing people from Super Armor. You know? It's so effective. Yeah, I don't really know how her PvE is doing anymore, to be honest with you. Last time I knew anything about Valk PvE was when History was the main grind spot in the game, and it certainly isn't now, so... But yeah, Valks are nuts, and that's another... Like, you cannot shred a Valks block from a Suck Ranger, even if you're, like, hard-capped. If they're built correctly. But obviously, when people build, like, you know, all AP accessories... No DP accessories, and they're like, hey, why doesn't my, you know, Trier Tet full Fallen God set protect me, you know? Like, because you have normal DP. You haven't sacrificed any AP points for actual DP. I don't understand why I'm dying. Well... Yeah, they got that triple Deboreka set, you know? Why am I not Giga Tanky? Valks are scary. I think the scariest a Valk is in a small scale fight. You know, like a 3v3, 5v5 sort of scenario. Literally, you can't deal with them. Oh, we're done. Okay. Oh, they respawn a lot faster than I thought they did. I think they must have buffed that. Don't think they've always spawned that fast. I think yes. I think Suckshocker got a buff. We'll get a very cinematic view while we do the money. Okay. 12 autonomous elements. Well, that's really good, but I don't know, man. It was so like last 10-minute heavy that I got so many of those. I'm a little bit sus of that, to be honest with you. Okay, so Cadry Ruins on high drop rate. This is not the drop rate a new player would have, but I did want to limit test it. Right, so we do 6,605 trash, which is 103 million. Obviously, we didn't expect that to be in money. Oh, hang on. Before we do, let's open the bags of Blackstones. Is it just armor? Oh, no, I got weapon too. I tell you what, that's not bad. The weapon stones, considering people need that for Jatina, that's pretty good. All right, again, on high drop rate. Scroll, 47. 16. Where's the Spirit Dust? 78. And Caphras is 50. Okay, this is the big one, the autonomous elements. What are they valued at? Okay. We got one Cadry ring. 4 of these. 12 of these. 45 of these. How many masses? 12. Artifacts, we got 3. And then we got... Is that 1 fire? Yes. That's everything, right? I think that's everything. Well, I mean, they're valued for whatever you'd sell the potion for, I guess. I don't know. Depends on the value of the potion. I think it's probably valued on the mana potion. So that's not, like, horrendous. I mean, the thing is here, like, 2 caveats to this are obvious, right? Number 1, most new players wanting to grind Cadry would not have the drop rate I had. You can grind on seasonal Arsha, and I guess you could risk normal Arsha. Most of the time, you're not going to meet someone like me, like those poor players earlier did.